We have an interview today, and we have it with a special person in the community who has just started up a hookah company in the United States that's popular over in Europe. I have him here today. I want him to introduce himself, and we're going to hear a little bit about his new company.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Jack Kassmanian, and I am one of the owners of Pitersmoke USA.
Yeah, guys, and just so you know, Jack is doing this in a remote location. He's doing all he can to make sure he gets this interview in. So we really do appreciate his time and his efforts just to be able to do this. And I think you're in a cabin or something in the middle of the woods. Is that where you are right now?
That's correct.
So, Jack, in a few words, what is Pitersmoke? I know it's a company that
There's also like a 5 second delay that's really making this a little stressful.
and that's fine. I'm sure we'll figure out how to time this better. But in your own words, what is Pitersmoke? Some people in our European community probably are more familiar with this brand and this company, but people in the U.S. market probably don't really have understand what Pitersmoke is.
So for the U.S. market, Pitersmoke is just a name. Pitersmoke doesn't really refer to anything. It's not derived from anything. It was just a name that three guys in Russia came up with, and that's what they've named their hookah business. Their hookah business is mainly retail shops and an online vending business, which is kind of what we're going to try and mirror here in the United States. Basically, what we're trying to do is start with the online vending, and we're selling primarily Russian products, Russian, Ukrainian, everything that's really popular in Russia. So there is a site that's just like ours. It's Pitersmoke.ru, and we're just mimicking that here in the United States, and we're calling it PitersmokeUSA.com.
Okay. So, like, if someone were to come up to you and say, or ask me, how is Pitersmoke different from like your competitors like Hookah Shisha, Hookah John? You would say that what differentiates you is that you focus primarily just on Eastern European hookah products, and that's your specialty, and that's what you're trying to bring into the U.S. market now.
Yeah, there's been a big buzz within the United States hookah market about Russian products, and I think the reason for that is because Russia is really developing their hookah culture by leaps and bounds. Just in the last few years, I'd say in the last 5 to 7 years, hookah culture has like really just skyrocketed in Russia. They're coming up with some real innovative products. They're priced very competitively, and there's some pretty good stuff coming out of there. Really quality stuff that we'd like to bring to the United States, so that the American hookah enthusiasts can enjoy them.
So, I'm part of this community, so I always hear it. It's Russia, 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 Russia. But, your general casual smoker that might be stumbling across this video might not understand. But if you were to be able to say what is a quick, distinct difference between, let's say, a Russian hookah market product versus an American hookah product, what would you say, like, off the bat might be, like, one or two things that the Russians consistently might do differently on their pipes that you won't see in an American counterpart?
Well, I can tell you one thing right off the bat: a lot of Russian pipes are made out of stainless steel. They really concentrate on using cutting-edge materials. Not to say that American hookah companies don't do that. We just saw a stainless steel hookah released by V2 that looks like a really quality piece. But predominantly, the stuff that comes out of Russia is made out of stainless steel. Obviously, there are some variations. There's a huge trend right now in Russia of using high-density plastics to make hookahs, which is really cool. So the combination of stainless steel, high-density plastics, high-end woods like resins, things like that, it makes their pipes pretty interesting. So somebody who's not familiar with the hookah market, worldwide, would probably look at a Russian hookah and not be able to really differentiate. But I think that the stuff that's coming out of Russia is going to be attractive to the American market because of the price point. Out of Russia, you can buy a full stainless steel setup. I mean, solid stainless steel from top to bottom. I'm talking about stem, tray, heart, everything, all stainless steel, somewhere in the $200 range. You know, that would be like a mid-range pipe. You can buy something as cheap as $125. That's all stainless steel. That's something that I don't even think we can replicate here in the United States just because of labor costs and things like that. So that's kind of what puts Russia and Russian pipes and Russian products in an attractive, or let's say in an attractive price point for American hookah buyers.
And would you say that a Russian hookah, because you touched on the price point, that's an important thing for a lot of buyers, because a lot of buyers are getting into the hobby that are looking at these new pipes. They may want to get a Russian pipe, but everything's about price, right? What would you say is would the price for the American counterpart of a Russian pipe be like a little bit more than that, 50%? Would you say some cases double even because it's so more expensive to make here?
So one of the things that I really looked at and I really researched before I started doing this Pitersmoke thing was the pricing of the Russian products versus, let's say, American products, Brazilian products. A lot of stuff is coming out of Germany that's similar to Russian products and the actual Russian products that we're selling. So German products, for the same quality that you're getting with some of these Russian pipes, are almost double the price. In the American market, we really don't have a lot of high-end hookah manufacturers. I mean, off the top of my head, I can come up with right now that's mass. I wouldn't say mass producing, but producing pipes that are readily available is B2 and Regal, and those pipes, they're typically around the $400 range. You can buy something that's Russian, that's full stainless steel, that'll last you a lifetime. That's more like $200. Brazilian pipes predominantly are made of aluminum. They're built very similar to, let's say, the American brand Prometheus. So, aluminum is good. It's not bad, but it's not the best. I really believe that the best material that you can make a hookah out of is stainless steel. And the mixture of stainless steel and the high-density plastic is really innovative. So, when you look at the hookah market all across the world, it's probably the Russian market is probably the most competitively priced hookahs for what you get in the world.
Yeah, you make an excellent argument for that as well, and I'd agree. I don't think there's anything in the American market in the price range that you're saying for stainless steel at all. You'll be even hard pressed to find aluminum pipes in that price range as well. Now, that's just one side of it, Russian hookah. When everybody's also talking about Russian tobacco, it's been like sort of like a drum beat in the background right behind those Russian hookahs. When will those even be able to start coming to the country, or for your average consumer be able to get their hands on something? Is that even in the picture? Is that even on the horizon, or is it something like people should just give up hope for it?
So one thing that I know, and there's two companies that I'm working with. Well, I wouldn't even say working with. There's two companies that I'm familiar with, and that's Darkside and Element Tobacco. Now, both of those companies I know for a fact are working diligently to get all their approvals to start importing their tobacco. Now, working with being so close to Darkside and the hierarchy of Darkside, just being friends of mine from my trips to Russia and all that kind of stuff, and meeting them and spending time with them, I know one thing about that company. They don't do anything crooked. They're taking every single step to make sure that whatever they do is 100% legal and legitimate. So it's taking a little bit of time. I really think that early 2020, we should see Darkside in the United States. I believe Element is going to follow not too far after that. Now, those are the two companies that I'm familiar with. So another thing I'd like to touch upon is you're talking about like the buzz of Russian tobaccos in the American, let's say, online communities or the enthusiast community. Here's one thing that I believe about tobacco. Everybody has a preference. I really believe that what people smoke is a preference. Um, I have found that in all my searches all over the world to buy tobacco from everywhere, that the most appealing tobacco to me is Dark Side. I like all of its properties. It appeals to me. Now, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world. It's just it's what I prefer. There's a lot of people out there who are gonna really like it. They have some really interesting flavors. There's a lot of people out there who are not gonna like it because of who knows what. Uh, I don't know. There's some people who really concentrate on certain things like longevity, originality of flavors, and things like that. Where certain tobacco brands are not going to be favorable to them and their personal taste. But for me, I have found that my personal favorite right now is Dark Side. I really like their tobacco, and it's what I smoke predominantly. As a matter of fact, I'm smoking a Dark Side Tula right now. So when it comes to all that buzz about tobacco, there's a lot of hype behind certain things like, oh, I got Dark Side and you can't get it. It's so hard to get. And that's always going to make people want something. But realistically, when it comes down to it, everybody's going to smoke what they prefer. And I think that's what it really is, a preference. A real true hookah smoker is going to be finicky about what they smoke. I think that it's almost like you can compare it to wine drinkers. Everybody has that certain preference or type that they like, and that's what it's all about. For me, that's what it's all about. There's going to be those people who, they want to post pictures and do all kinds of stuff about, hey, look, I got the latest and greatest that nobody can get, unobtainium hookah tobacco. But realistically, I think that when all of this stuff hits the market, people who like it, who it appeals to, they're going to buy it, and people who don't, they're not. They might buy it once or twice because of the hype, and then they won't buy it. But one thing about Dark Side is I do believe that it is a type of tobacco that appeals to a really broad range of people. And it's very flexible about the way you pack it. You can pack it a little fluffier, a little higher, and it'll give you a stronger buzz. You can pack it in a funnel bowl and it'll last a lot longer. You can pack it in the traditional method like everybody recommends to pack Dark Side. A lot of people are packing it in a traditional type bowl, Turkish type bowl, and using this donut pack method, and that'll give you a decent session. But I'll tell you one thing that I can say about, let's say, Dark Side tobacco, when we're talking about Russian tobaccos, is this is not, this is going to sound a little far-fetched, but I pack Dark Side in a Poblacco medium funnel bowl. I use the Kolotka HMD that is. Hello?
Yep.
Did I lose you? Oh, sorry. Anyway, I pack it in a Kolotka, and I got the other day sitting with Luca Frank and a couple other people at the Oasis Hookah Lounge in Las Vegas. I got a 4-hour session. So, it's very flexible like that. If you want the longevity, there's a way to do it. If you want the real quick nicotine hit, there's a way to do that. So, that's why it appeals to me.
That's good. That's good to hear, Jack. Jack, what would you say is the best way for people to reach out to you and find you online? My predominantly used method of social media is Facebook. I communicate with a lot of people on Facebook, Facebook Messenger. Anybody send me a friend request on Facebook, I don't say no to anybody. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Out.
But I think if anybody wants to see what's going on in my life, if they want to see, and I use my Facebook, because I'm in the industry, I use it mostly for my hookah stuff, posting pictures, updating people, telling people what's new, the latest, greatest. There's also Pitersmoke USA on Facebook. Pitersmoke USA on Instagram. Those are pretty much the social media means that I use and that Pitersmoke uses.
Great. Thank you, Jack Kassmanian, for joining us today and tell us about Pitersmoke. Thank you guys for joining us for this interview. Catch more next week, and like you said, you could just follow up with Pitersmoke on those locations Jack has just given us. Thank you, Jack, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Frank. I really appreciate the opportunity and much success.